Okay, David. Should have recorded before now, but here we go. So far we have N is the sample size, X is the number of successes, P hat's probability of success, Q hat's probability of failure. First step is to identify all your sample stats that you need. Most of the time this stuff is in the problem, but sometimes you have to take X divided by N to figure out what P hat is. And yes, it is P hat, P hat. Okay. Next up, you have to verify that you can use a normal distribution, because this is all based on a normal distribution. Because we're going to use that chart on A16, which is a normal distribution, which means that N times P hat has to be bigger than or equal to 5, and N times Q hat has to be bigger than or equal to 5. We've already done that before, right? In chapter 5, remember this? Okay. So let's travel down to example 1, and we're going to do steps 1 and 2. So step 1, let's see, we had a survey of 1,000 teenagers, 672 said they own smartphones. Construct a 95% confidence interval for the population proportion of US teens who own smartphones. This study is true, but it was done like 5 years ago, so I'm sure that the numbers have upped since then. But still remember that a teenager still counts as like a 13-year-old is a teenager, and they don't all have smartphones. So anyway, N is 1,000. What's X in this one? Yep. So what's P hat?
Uh, 672 divided by 1,000.
Mm-hmm.
0.67.
Mm-hmm. Now how do we find out what Q hat is? That, right, 1 minus that. 0.328, is that right?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Next question, number 2. If I took 67% of 1,000, would I be bigger than 5? Yeah. If I took 32% of 1,000, would I be bigger than 5? Yeah. Okay, I don't even need to do the math. I know it's going to work. You guys still like this? I'm like doing steps and at the same time doing a problem. Okay, are we good, Mitchell? Yeah. Okay. Going back to step 3. Step 3. Now we need to find Z sub C for the specific confidence interval. This is on A16. It's that Z chart you have. Remember that if you were to make a bell curve, that middle part is that C% or whatever that confidence interval is. We're looking for the Z score right here. That one is the one we want. So we want a 95% confidence interval. Do you have it memorized yet? What a 95% confidence interval is for a Z score? Close, that's 99.
1.64.
That's 90. Between 1.64 and 2.575.
No, it's like
1.96.
5.
1.96. Hey, but like, let's suppose we didn't know it. How would we find it out? What would we do?
Up in the chart, in the middle of the chart.
What
No,
would,
you look up point. It says right on the side.
it
No,
does say,
you
but
do
it won't say on the AP exam.
0.25.
0.025.
They don't give us that sheet.
They will give you this sheet, but it's not the
Oh,
sheet.
this
This sheet, specifically this sheet is like the one from this textbook. They will give you this chart and it will be the same thing, but that little part here, that's just part of this textbook. So
Oh, yeah, 0.9, 1.9.
Yes, 1.96. So you'd look up 0.025 and that would give you in the middle of the chart and that would figure it out because that's half of each one. All right, so I'm gonna write down for step 3 down here. I'm gonna make a little picture really quick just to remind us that that would be 95% on the inside and that this number would be 1.96. Over here is negative 1.96. This is 2.5% and this is also 2.5%. All right, next step. Going back up to number 4, is finding the margin of error. That means E equals Z sub C times the square root of P hat times Q hat divided by N. I'm just going to write down the rest of the steps while we're here. The next step is to make the confidence interval. Before our point estimate on the inside was X bar. What do you think it is now? Well, this is for a population proportion. P hat, yeah. P hat's on the inside. And then over here will be P hat plus the error, and over here will be P hat minus the error. And then finally, like usual, state it in context. That's one sentence, one horrible, horrible sentence you have to write in a math class. Caitlin, you still with us? Okay. Because it's a proportion. So like this is more like if I said, so an example of this, like if you want, which we'll understand in just a second when we finish this problem, but like the way you would use this is like if you said, how many people are going to vote for Trump? And we said, look, we think it's about like 45% plus or minus 2%. There was a margin of error of 2%. So instead of saying like, this is how many people would vote for him, now our middle number is, this is the percent. Okay, so we're gonna find the margin of error next. Error equals Z sub C, which we said was 1.96, right? Times the square root of 0.672 times 0.328, all divided by N, which is 1,000. If you are having problems figuring out exactly where the parentheses and all that stuff should be in your calculator, let me know. I got 0.029. So go ahead and try it on your calculator right now and make sure that you agree with me. If you're not getting the right answer, call me over or show me online so I can help you make sure you're typing it in right.
I'm not doing that.
Yep. This is good, except for don't put that parentheses there. Let's delete that one and put it here instead.
Okay.
Yep. All right, so if we got a TIE fighter here, that was a horrible TIE fighter today, but normally I'm much better at it. 0.672 goes in the middle, and then you add and subtract 0.029 to both sides. Then you can say, if I asked all teenagers, I'm 95% confident that between 64.3% and 70.1% would own smartphones. How old were you guys when you got a phone?
Like, I think I was like
13?
13.
Right on the edge of middle school?
Yeah, it was like before I went into that. So maybe 12.
So basically when you started like doing a lot of like practices and stuff where you'd have to like call your mom and be like, pick me up, you know, like that kind of stuff. What, at the beginning, were you allowed to like message any friends you wanted to and stuff like that? Or did you have like restrictions on what you could do and what you couldn't do? You just had a really bad phone.
It was like a flip phone, but it was like, I don't know,
Just basically to contact in emergencies if you needed somebody.
contacts, and you could get like weird games.
Yep.
Like snake game, you know, go.
Yeah.
That's pretty much it.
Classic. You could always do whatever. Yeah, I don't know. Oh, last night I heard Penny in her room and she was pretending to do a YouTube tutorial. It was so cute. She was like, okay, guys, well, that's it for today. Make sure you hit that like and subscribe button on the bottom corner. I know, like, and I was like, the heck? And so I walk in there and I'm like, what are you doing? She's like, making a video. And I'm like, and you're posting it. And she's like, oh, no, I'm practicing for when I get older. And I was like, okay. So she's got all these videos saved because she's got an old, one of my old phones, and she doesn't like have her own phone number, like, or anything. So she can't text anyone. It just basically connects to our Wi-Fi and she can like watch YouTube videos if she wants to. And she's got kids messenger. So she can pretty much message Noah Spencer and her cousin Lily. So it's Lily and Noah are the two people that she can message. And yeah, that she freaked me out twice yesterday. The first time was with the what are you posting online? She was posting nothing. And the second time she freaked me out was she's in the bath. And then she goes, okay, but I have to go right now because I'm in the bath. And I was like, who are you talking to in the bath? That is unacceptable. And so I walk in ready to yell at her, and she's got like her Mickey Mouse figurines. And she's just like, yeah, just let your mom know that like you have to go take a bath. Okay. You know, and she's like just literally pretending with little care. But I thought she's on the phone with Noah or something. And I was like, oh my God. You are.
I'm in the bath.
Oh, I don't know if I would have been more mad about her like putting her naked body out there or about to drop a phone in the bathtub. Like both were, I was furious about both, and it turned out to be neither. And it was fine. Okay, example 2. Your turn. Why don't you turn to a person next to you? You pick who you're gonna work with. Tanner and Caitlin. I'm gonna mute myself so you guys can talk through this one together, okay?